Greetings. So, I'm sure as anyone being in the martial arts community, you've met a lot of people who have this idea that it only can be one way, right? All the people who are just like, your way's wrong, my way's right, and stick it. I'm sure we've all met a few of those. So in this video, I'm here to say that there's multiple perspectives that can seemingly be opposite, but also be right. Don't get me wrong, there's things that are just plain wrong. But there are a lot of different, seemingly opposite ways that can both be right at the same time. So to say this in a way that's like, is not alienating any styles or anything, and making it as simple as possible, we're going to talk about the idea of using high kicks versus not using high kicks. Because anyone can look at that and be like, okay, I can see, like some people use high kicks, some people don't use high kicks. Okay, now why? That's the big question, is why they do what they do. And whenever we have our own opinions, and we see someone else with a different opinion, instead of being like, okay, your opinion's wrong because I was taught this way and I know this is right. Instead you have to be like, okay, why do you think it like that? And then you have to try and empathize, try to understand what exactly that they're talking about. So again, this idea of high kicks. Boot to the head, all that stuff, right? So anybody who's like watched like MMA, you've seen like knockouts with high kicks. This happened. You've also seen people like eat it when they try high kicks. So the thing is, why do each of them work? So high kicks, basically they work because you knock like legs pretty freaking strong. A lot stronger than an arm, right? So if you get a well-placed kick to the side of the head, boom, knocked out, fight over. A lot easier than like throwing a punch and trying to knock them out with the same, because you're gonna have to use a lot more force with one punch than you would with a kick. It's a little bit easier this way. Bigger muscle groups and all that. Not even talking about using the core of the body anyway. So we know that that works. So what are the disadvantages to it? Why do people say don't do high kicks, right? Well, I have my lovely partner here to show me why. Thing is, with high kicks, it's very easy to be caught, right? If you catch this kick, like catch it, right? Okay. Yeah. Now it's a big problem, right? Because now I'm on one leg, he's got control of my leg, which means if he just starts to yank it in any direction, I have to go that way. So that presents one of the dangers of high kicks. You're okay, by the way? Good. So one of the dangers of high kicks is the fact that you're giving up one of your stakes in the ground. We're bipeds. We're a little bit more stable when we have both our feet on the ground. We're not as stable when we have one foot off the ground, because now we gotta work on balance. And if he grabs my kick, not only do I have to work for balance, but I have to work for balance against what he's doing. So whatever he turns, I have to adapt to, which makes it very difficult. Also, with high kicks, look what's exposed. He can easily grab my kick, and then we all know where that goes. Okay, so they can understand the idea of like, okay, keep your kicks low. So it's like we're fighting. Kick for the knee, kick for the ankle, kick for the hip, and keep it below that point. Okay, that's viable, right? It works. Because it's a lot harder to catch a kick when it's low. You have to reach down for it, and then by then you can just get smashed, right? Like if he does a low kick, I try to catch it, look where his hand is, it's right by my face. So it works. So both methods work. Now, here's where you get even deeper into it. For someone saying, okay, I don't like to use high kicks, how can I make high kicks a little bit safer? Because it's basically a high risk, high reward strategy, right? So let's examine once again the downsides of high kicks. One, I have a lot harder time keeping balance. The other, I'm more open, right? And then I have the risk of him catching my kick, which presents a whole bunch of problems. Okay, so now we try to find a scenario in which we can fix those things. So, da. So here, you don't have to throw a kick, I'm doing the kicks. Yeah. So, whatever here. So, if I'm off balance when I like throw kicks, and if he tries to catch me, right, it's gonna be a lot harder if he's also off balance. So if he's currently fighting for his balance, it's a lot safer for me to start throwing kicks. Because he's gonna have a less chance to try and do something to me because he's busy fighting for his own balance. So if we just meet and like already he's on his back foot, I can throw this and he's at a less advantageous place to do so. So while it doesn't fix the problem of like I'm on one foot and have to work harder to balance, it does fix the problem, or at least mend the problem, that it's dangerous for him to catch me because I'm already putting him off balance. Also, the whole thing of leaving myself open. The thing about being open is he has to be able to strike me. So if I do this, right, his fist is right there, right? Whew. But if he's like this right now, so his other hand's over there, I've got control of this hand, I can kick him up here, and he has to like really work in order to actually punch me in the nuts, or do anything like that, right? So if I put these all together, I throw him off balance, so now like in that moment, he's fighting for his balance, and I've presented myself a safer situation for which to throw my kick. Smash. Then it fixes all those problems. So then it doesn't become an issue of whether it's right or not to throw high kicks, it's when is right to throw high kicks, and when is not right to throw high kicks. So while it's okay for me to throw high kicks out here, there's a lot more danger than in the previous situation, right? So you just have to understand the whole idea behind the risk. You have to be ready for the risk and everything to go wrong, so you can adapt to it. Or you can put yourself into that advantageous position, throw that kick through, and then keep yourself safe while you're doing it. It becomes a lot less of this right, this wrong, and more of this is right for this time, and this is right for this time. Or rather, I would say, this is more right for this time, and this is more right for this time. So again, in this situation, we're here. I would say it'd be more right to be here. Or if I'm here, okay, it's right to be here, but it's also right to be here. Because you're fixing the situation, right? So I hope the community can kind of get behind this idea that things can also be right even when they're seemingly opposed, and create less arguments and more discussion. So that's all for this video.